Hello, everybody. Welcome back to Sahara TV. Today, as we discuss Beyond Sowore, democracy in Africa in crisis. And we all know what's going on with Omoyele Sowore, who's the publisher of Sahara Reporters, is also a former Nigerian presidential candidate. And we know the saga he's been going through. A lot of people have been lending their voice, especially a lot of celebrities like myself, excuse me. But on the phone right now, we have Nigeria's #1 blogger. She's been blogging since 1999. She's, all over social media. And she's, ladies and gentlemen, please let's welcome the live #1 blogger in Nigeria, Dr. Kemi Oluloyo. Hello, Doctor. Are you there?
Thank you so much. I'm also a journalist, 25 years of that, and 20 years of blogging.
You know what? Thank you for being patient, right? And we had to, thank you for being patient because we were trying to get you earlier, but your resume is quite extensive. And let me just read some of it. Retired journalist, pharmacist, PR specialist, gun violence and community and political activist, battling PTSD. Okay, I won't add that, but you've won.
It's okay to add it. Yesterday was World Mental Health Day.
You're right.
And the 3 degrees, people don't really know it. Some people say I'm not a pharmacist, I'm a journalist, because I don't know. Wikipedia doesn't talk about that. They only talk about what you're notable for. My first degree was pharmacy, a doctorate, and the second is public relations management, while the third is journalism. So, and they're all 3 first-class degrees from the U.S.
Right,
so,
thank you. Yeah.
That's it. The others were just things I did myself. Activism. You fight for people. Activism is a normal thing for me. It's just I'm born to serve. That's why I got into activism. Thanks for having me.
Oh, definitely. If we're going to go over your whole accolades, we'll be here till tomorrow because you're quite extensive. I know you just came off the launch with Tiwa Savage. I thought that was big. You want to talk just a little bit about that before we go into the main course of the...
Tiwa Savage is a beautiful lady. She's my new friend, my new young friend. We spent hours on the phone, 90 minutes each phone call, an hour and a half. She is a very talented artist. What I saw was when I was a music journalist and publicist in Canada, I saw a potential of Nigeria blowing up even better in the music world globally. When Motown, Universal, and Capitol signed her. So $49.99, I said I was going to go all out and support and empower her. I went out, made the dress. If you go to my Instagram at Kemi Oluloyo, you'll see the video I did.
Right.
The dress, I went to the tailor, did the hair, and I showed up at the venue. And every media outlet wanted to see why I did it. It was for empowering her. Sadly, some little sour incident happened 2 days ago, and we want to overlook it. The 2 or 3 OAPs at a radio station that were talking behind her and calling her names, the mic was not off, so it was videotaped and it went out. And I told her, I said, don't worry, they were talking behind you. They're behind, you're ahead.
Exactly. So, but let's get back to the main reason for why we invited you to the show. And, of course, we wanted to talk about Omoyele Sowore's arrest, who's been granted bail, but still. So he was granted bail initially. And, of course, it came back. He wasn't released. And let's just take a step back. What do you think of the whole saga with Sowore being arrested and everything?
You're going to be shocked at some of the stuff I'm going to say. On the night Sowore was arrested, I came back from a party, and I came back around 1:30 a.m., and I lived in Ikeja. And when I saw what was going on social media, I quickly tweeted. I asked President Buhari, please release Sowore. Let us hear the dissidents and what they have to say. Now, I must tell you, I campaigned heavily for Sowore when he was running for president.
Right.
In Ibadan, everywhere, we campaigned very heavily.
I saw that.
Now, after that campaign, Sowore bid me goodbye, went back to New York, and I really didn't know what was next. I didn't know about Revolution Now, but I read some things about him and Nnamdi Kanu having the meetings and all that. I did send him a message on WhatsApp. I said, Sowore, be very careful being with Nnamdi because these people at the presidency may perceive it another way because a picture tells 1,000 words. So that's all I said, but I never heard from Yele after that. I really never heard. He didn't reply me, and I know he's overwhelmed sometimes with his WhatsApp. So when I heard he was arrested for trying to overthrow the government, I was just, first of all, I laughed, and I'm like, oh, come on, please, guys, revolution now, a word. I mean, President Obasanjo said in 2014, and I have the screenshot.
Yeah, well,
Nigeria needs a revolution.
Yeah,
you can come start at my house,
Sorry to interject, but, they said Buhari also said the same thing in 2011, so.
Yes, he did. Yes, he did. And I have the screenshot for that one, too. Buhari, every one of them say we need a revolution. During the Obasanjo one in 2014, I said, President Obasanjo, now we're going to come to your gate at Hilltop to start a revolution, and you're going to call the army on us, okay? And they start shooting. So he laughed and joked about it. But the point is, when I heard this, it was like I was actually gagged. After I made that initial tweet, the tweet went to up to 1,000 retweets. Then I suddenly kept quiet. And everywhere on social media, Kemi, talk about Sowore. Kemi, talk about Sowore. I couldn't talk because my youngest son, Rich KJT, okay, Rich KJT Music, is a young aspiring musician. Kayode Joshua Taiwo, KJT, is the nephew of the judge. Okay, my son was born to Kehinde Taiwo, an American Nigerian. Okay, that was my ex. And it was like, KJ, your uncle is the judge in Sowore's case. And KJ has the Sowore T-shirts campaigned for the youth part. You know what I mean?
Wow.
For the
Very close
Take
to
It
home.
Back movement for the youth. I'm like, I have to sit my son down. He's 18. I said, KJ, we can't speak. We can't do activism because Uncle Taiwo is the judge. We can't even call him.
So what is that? So
point,
would that be like a conflict of interest? Is that what?
That's exactly what it was.
Okay.
It was a conflict of interest. So when I said, I'm going to tell you guys finally why I couldn't, I had to contact somebody at Sahara to contact me. So everyone watching now will fairly understand why I said nothing. It was a conflict of interest because Kehinde Taiwo was my ex-boyfriend, baby mama kind of thing. You know what I mean?
Right.
If you really look at it, Taiwo is my brother-in-law in a way. You know what I mean? He's my son's uncle. And my son looks very much like him. So my son was on the down low. It would be a really huge conflict of interest. The DSS is going to say I'm making calls. You know what I mean?
Right.
I'm trying to do this. I watched it from a far away place. And then Taiwo gave him bail. And that bail was not honored. And I even heard that they even wanted to take Taiwo to some kind of court or some disciplinary judge court. The whole thing was funny. Okay, so Taiwo's gone. So the lady came, the Ojukwu lady. And when I heard Ojukwu, I'm sorry, I don't want to laugh, but the only thing I thought was Biafra. You know, I just said, who is this woman? Who is she? Blah, blah, blah. Yeah. Then she handed out that bail. And I said, is this somebody behind this kind of bail? 100 million? 50 million, the account? But put the money aside, okay? Money can always be gotten. But you can't leave Abuja when your business is in Lagos. When your house is in Lagos,
I think the terms of the bill were quite harsh. Let's be honest.
It was extremely harsh. Yeah. I personally, believe it or not, all the countries I've been to in the world, lived to, I still haven't been to the FCT. I haven't been to Abuja, and I know I'm going there big time. But at the end of the day, he can't leave Abuja. The other person, Mandate, can't leave Osun State. This is like, excuse me, did we have some Aboki guys, Hausa guys? Okay, and I'm not trying to get tribal because I am tribal. Okay, Nigeria has 3 tribes, major.
Right.
Okay, so you have to use tribe. That's just me. People call me tribalist all the time. I care less. Okay. The main thing is, we had some Hausa guys come here to Lagos. While I was here, I just moved to Lagos 3 months ago with bikes. And they held them for a few days to make sure they're not bandits or terrorists. But Nigerians were screaming on social media, there's a freedom of movement in this country in the Constitution. We're all Nigerians. We can go wherever we want. So why is Sowore being restricted? Why does he have why are they cutting off his freedom of movement under a bail condition? Do you understand what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Why are they saying he cannot talk to the media under a freedom of press condition? Okay? You know when you started this interview with me, what did you say? You said, sorry, we took so long, okay? Because I have to interview a young man from Big Brother Nigeria today, another one of them. It's a surprise. I wouldn't say the name, but the young man,
Time out.
8 o'clock. I'm like, I will do it after. But
give us some.
When we are media, we can interview anybody we want. Why put that as a bail condition?
Right.
Go ahead.
No, quick question, though. I wanted to just backtrack a little bit. You said one of the reasons you wouldn't really approve of him meeting with Nnamdi Kanu, and those are one of the conditions that they used to arrest him. But let's be honest, he can meet with anybody, and some of the things they discussed wasn't about. He wasn't trying to start a war or anything. They were talking about different things. So I didn't say anything wrong with him meeting Nnamdi Kanu, but maybe from a tribalistic point of view, some people would have had a problem with it. But for the bigger picture of Nigeria overall and trying to bring Nigeria to a good place, to be honest with you, I kind of understood what he was doing.
Let me tell you the reason why. Because me personally, I was one of those people who looked at it from a tribal sentiment. I was very angry that Nnamdi tricked Sowore into getting arrested. But now, after listening to Nnamdi tonight,
he was on the show.
you know, and I saw Sowore's interview with Nnamdi. After looking at all that tonight, I think of it differently. Yes, they were working together, you know, for the betterment of Nigeria. I actually heard Sowore say that I am not for this Yoruba propaganda that he always says, blah, blah, blah. We're just working for the betterment of the people. Now, let me tell you something. We're the great country in Africa. Okay, I call it GNA. The great nation of Africa is Nigeria. I would die for this country. Let me tell you something. I'm very patriotic. That Iya Naira that they named me, people thought it was because I was advocating for Naira Marley. That was my nickname in America because I care about Nigerians. I used to welcome them when they came. Remember during the green card era? They give them free green cards, the lottery. I care about this country. So what I said was that if we had Nnamdi Kanu break away from the cessationist thing, the separatist thing, mixed with Sowore and Buhari, we can actually have a shared power and a better Nigeria. But nobody saw it that way. They didn't see that way. Aso Rock will never see it that way. Nobody wants shared power. We can actually share power. Look at Sudan. You know what I mean, with the military and all that, but it takes a lot of people that die along the way. But we can do it without shedding any blood. Nnamdi, Sowore, Buhari. I mean, this is simple. The country is in a state of shame. I got to tell you one thing. I was in the prison, remember?
Yeah, Kemi, please. I know we got to, go ahead. Talk about your prison, but we have to round up very soon due to time constraints.
Exactly. 6 months, 3 times, because I posted a news tip. The police botched the case. I solved it myself. They released me. At the end of the day, the people in the prison are 18 to 25. Lots of them IPOB boys. Why are they not being rehabilitated like the Boko Haram boys who got spiritual cleansing and rehabilitation? There are too many of those young Igbo boys, the IPOB boys. I went there and gave them money and food and all that. I travel to Port Harcourt every now and then. The main thing now is that aside from human rights, Nigerian youth are lacking civil rights. The civil rights of many people are violated. Why is Abiri arrested after we offered him $10 million a settlement? Why is our government doing this? Let us work together. We are in a serious state of insecurity. We're in a serious state of youth development has fallen down. I was robbed June 14th. You know that the armed robbers came to my house at gunpoint and everything. I was injured. My mother was at gunpoint, a former first lady. So who are you when they come to your house? We need to work on security. We need to work on the youth platform. The youth. Some of us want to teach the youth. They don't have money. So the government has to put that money out and invest.
Doctor, they're giving me the sign in the control room, and I understand what you're saying. I think Nigeria needs a synergy for all of us to come together and take that country forward. Thank you very much for your time. But just before you go, real quick, if you have any message for Sowore and for the country, for Nigeria overall, please just tell us real quick in 20 seconds or less. What message do you have for Sowore and for the country?
Nigerians, stay strong. Speak out. Many of you want everybody to speak out for you. Sowore is going to be the president of Nigeria in my lifetime.
Right. Thank you. One last thing before you go. Why don't you give us that breaking news? Who are you interviewing from BBN? Let that be breaking news on Sahara TV. All right, there you go. Ladies and gentlemen. All right.
Let me go call him now.
Yeah,
I can say, it's on my Instagram. So Machala is next.
All right, Doctor.
Thank you very much for having me,
Thank
Sahara.
you so much. And I won't forget, you cursed me out 5 years ago, but it's good for us to reconnect like this.
Okay, let me give you the first kiss.
There you go. Thank you. So, guys, there you have it. Yeah, thank you. That was Dr. Kemi Oluloyo. Follow her on Instagram, Twitter, everywhere, Facebook, and everywhere. Also, don't forget to follow Sahara TV on Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, and also follow your boy, Humble Prince, Instagram, Facebook, and everywhere. Everywhere. Sahara TV. We'll be right back.